Hi everyone, it's me, Krista. So, the police just left my house. Bet you want to know why. Okay, well here it is. 7 years ago, I married a man with anger issues. No big deal, right? A lot of men deal with anger issues. They do. But I was a part of the church and I really believed that, people can change. Things will get easier the more we get to know each other. Me and my husband didn't date for very long before we got married. You know, that whole no sex before marriage thing that they do in the church. Well, it drives couples like me and Chris to get married when we probably shouldn't have. Not probably, we shouldn't have. So, over the last 7 years? Yeah, 7 years. I've been told a lot to pray about it, to seek counseling, to join a women's group. Well, why do I need to join a women's group when he's the one with anger issues? Who knows? Not me. So, I've heard the statistic that it takes an abused woman 7 times to leave. That sounds like a lot. I can hear people saying like, well, why didn't you just leave and stay gone? Well, I'll get into that in another video. But let's focus on tonight's events. So, yesterday and the day before, Chris has started fights for no reason. And he has blocked my exits. So, like if here's the garage door and my car's on the other side, he'll snatch the baby carrier away from me, the car seat, and he'll put our infant in front of the door. So here's the door, here's my car. Door, baby, him yelling at me, and him holding our slightly older infant son. And then yesterday, on top of all of that, he parked sideways across the driveway. So even if I escaped the 3 people barriers, still had a car barrier, so I couldn't leave. I had to stay there and fight him. And we're not talking your run-of-the-mill disagreements. We're talking loud, angry shouting. For no reason. No reason. He's yelling about my dad, who he hasn't seen in years. He's yelling at how I'm not a good wife because, well, who knows what. Because I don't go to church with him anymore. But I'm on my 4th time leaving him. 4th. And after my 3rd time, I stopped going to that church because it was such a big ordeal that everybody in the church knew what was going on. And not to mention, the church we were going to, he invited his whole family to go. So every Sunday it would be him, his mom, his aunt, his cousin, his other cousin, his aunt. So why would I want to go hang out with his family when he's a jerk to me all the time? I don't want to, so I don't. And that's been fine. So lately his anger has just been amping up. And so he's threatened to take the kids away from me, take the house away from me. And I didn't know what to do. Well, I did know what to do because I went through this last year. But I didn't know a better way to do it. So I went down to the courthouse this morning and I got a restraining order. And they said, oh, because it's a normal business day, it could be delivered tonight. Or served tonight, not delivered. It's not pizza. Speaking of pizza, all this stress. Can't blame it on the stress because the stress itself didn't put it in my mouth. But after having my 2nd kid in 2 years and all the stress that comes from being married to a verbal abuser. Sometimes you get fat. Anyway, so I get a restraining order, and he calls. No, he doesn't call. I call non-emergency around 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I say, "Hello, it's Krista. I got a restraining order today against my husband. Here's where he's at. You can give it to him." So they send a police officer my way to get my copy of the restraining order. Because if the sheriff doesn't deliver it, you can have any police officer, any of them, hand the person you're requesting that restraining order against. You can serve them with that because you have a copy you're supposed to keep on your person. So I go to hand them that around 8 o'clock today. And they said, "Oh, we don't need this. The sheriff's out making his rounds now, so he should be hitting up that area soon." Well, that seems like a relief, right? So I put my kids to bed, and I lock all the doors and all the windows. And last year when I left, my dad installed like a hotel lock that you can only lock from the inside. And I had that locked because I have a restraining order. I don't want him in the house. So he shows up, and I don't hear him because I have fans going in the bedroom. It's incredibly hot here, incredibly hot. We're in the middle of a heat wave, and so I have both fans going and like a swamp cooler, so there's a lot of noise in there. But I can hear him because he's crazy, and I am used to hearing his crazy. So he pounds on the window, pounds, and then and the bedroom window is in the back of the house. So he like jumped the fence and went around to the back, pound on my door. So I get up and I call the police. I call 911. And I say, "I need an officer here now. I have a restraining order against him and he's here." So I was like, he's trying to beat down the door. He's yelling. He's making threatening comments. And I was like, he's threatening to call the police, which is kind of ironic because I'm already on the phone with police. Anyway, so the reason I brought up that hotel lock is because he kicks in my door. Breaks the whole frame right off. Guess I'll know for next time to put that hotel lock in a stud, and you can't do that. So anyway, and I hear this commotion, and I come down the hall, and before I even can think, he's like right on top of me. Not touching me, but like right in my face. And he's calling me a psychopath, and I have my little restraining order like a little kid. "I have a restraining order, you need to leave." And he said, "You're bluffing, that's not a real restraining order." And I said, "Yes it is, and the police are on their way." And so he goes into my bedroom where our children sleep, and he turns on the lights. He wakes up the kids. Why are you waking up the kids? They're not involved in this. They can barely speak. Well, one of them can't. He's an infant. The other one's just a slightly older infant. So, then obviously our oldest is distraught and upset because his dad just woke him up in a panic while he's yelling at his mom, like usual. So the police officer comes, and I go out and I give him the paperwork. And Chris is right behind me saying, "I don't need to leave. I don't need to give her the kid. I have every right to be here. I pay the mortgage." That's a lie too. I pay it. I'm the breadwinner. Anyway, so I'm sorry I keep looking that way. I'm kind of still nervous, and I know I got Duane syndrome, so it's very distracting. I apologize. So anyway, I go to the police officer and I say, "He's not supposed to be here, and he just kicked in my door." And, I know they're a mandatory reporter, so they have to report that. And so he's saying, like, I lied on the restraining order so I could steal the kids away from him. I mean, I do have full custody, but it's because he's psychotic and breaks down doors and intimidates and like gets up in people's faces and yells at them. And I've seen him do it to our oldest, and so I don't want my kids around that. And anyway, he tells the police officer that I lied and I shouldn't have a restraining order because the female judge always sides with the female. Well, I can tell you because this is my second time around. That's not true. Lots of restraining orders they get petitioned for and they don't get approved because they have to meet specific requirements. And guess what? Your psycho butt fits those requirements because you're insane. So anyway, they tell him, you have until 11 minutes after midnight. You can stay here fighting with us, because he's fighting police officers verbally, but still fighting them to the point that they call him back up. So I had 3 cop cars and 3 police officers telling him you need to leave, and he's still fighting with them, saying he doesn't need to leave because he pays the mortgage, which is again a lie. So he's holding our son, our slightly older infant, and he will not give our infant son back to me. So they said, you can either get your possessions now or you don't get to get them. That's in the restraining order. You have to be accompanied by a police officer to get your valuables. And I don't want his valuables. I'm not out to get anything from him, just for him to leave me alone. So they say he has until 12:11. Well, 12:20 comes around, and now they're asking me to wake up my infant son so he can say goodbye to him. So I do, because the police officer asked me to. And he spends a couple minutes saying goodbye to him. And then they hand me both children. And, my oldest is shaken up, so I let him have a glass of milk and watch his favorite movie. And I rock my youngest to sleep again. And they're on my lawn talking until 1:20. He was supposed to leave at 12:11. It's 1:30 and you're still out there arguing with police. Well, I guess in all of this, that'll help me in the long run, because now I have 3 police officers as a witness to his insane, erratic behavior. So I just wanted to tell you guys, because my family has been very supportive. Very, very supportive. But honestly, they're freaked out by him too. Their anxiety is through the roof because he's insane. And it has been for years, so I just don't tell them. And then I feel stifled because all these crazy things happen to me and I can't tell anyone. So now I'm telling people. And I just want to say, if you're a part of a church, that's great. I am a Christian too. I haven't been to church in a while, but I would like to start going again. I think it has a good message. I'd be a good person. But the church really does women a disservice when they come to you with instances of abuse, verbal, physical, emotional. And you just say to pray harder, or you say, oh, well, God's going to work on him. Well, maybe down the road he will work on him. But that doesn't help me now. You should tell these women, you should tell me 7 years ago, it's okay to leave. I know the Bible speaks against divorce, but women aren't meant to be abused. I'm sorry, we're just not. Actually, I'm not sorry. Nobody should be. Well, the golden rule in the Bible even says, treat others how you want to be treated. So, I don't want to be abused, and I don't want to abuse anybody else. That's what you need to tell people. Not divorce is wrong. Tell them, you deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be cared about. So, anyway, that's my message for today, or my crazy rant of what happened to me today. I think I might make this a little series because 7 years there's a lot of baggage. And, I know a lot of people have been in my shoes too and they just haven't talked about it. Like I haven't. Because I don't want to say brainwashed because I don't want to be like one of those people that seems like they hate on the church. But a lot of people have been conditioned to think like, oh, yeah, that's how some men are. And there's nothing you can do about it. Yes, there is. You can leave. You can be happy. And yeah, it's scary, especially when you have a mortgage and 2 kids. But would you rather stay with someone who scares you anyway? No, you don't. Okay, bye.